After spending decades in a narcissistic relationship, abuse gets normalized and caramelized. Basically, that becomes the only reality known to you. You don't know what's wrong with it, good becomes bad, bad becomes good, and you can't differentiate between healthy and unhealthy because that's all you have known. Things get messed up as we numb down, as we become totally indifferent towards our environment and we just escape it, partially because we feel like there is no changing it or that there is no escape. Let's talk about it further in today's episode. Hi, I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. In today's episode, we are going to talk about 5 bad things that get normalized in a narcissistic relationship. If that sounds interesting and you're eager to learn more, please make sure to subscribe if you haven't already or if you're new to the channel, because as I always say, your subscription may help in spreading awareness about narcissism and narcissistic abuse. Number 1, going to bed alone. See, as human beings, we need companionship. When we are with somebody, especially a partner, we need them to be around. We need to feel the presence. We need to feel the intimacy. Especially for those whose love language is physical touch, it's extremely important to be felt, to be touched, to just know there is somebody to cuddle with, to hug. But because there is abandonment and only abandonment in a narcissistic relationship, there is chaos, trauma, and drama. You learn to sleep alone. You learn to sleep with your pillows. You learn to sleep with your phone on your side. You learn to sleep with your nightmares. The narcissist leaves you on your own and there is no expectancy whatsoever. You do not know when and if they are going to come to the bed to sleep with you because they have programmed you into allowing them to sleep on the couch, to do all their dirty stuff, to talk to strangers on the internet and to basically cheat on you, to watch pornography, to do things that are unacceptable in any healthy relationship. So learning to sleep alone is not normal. I know there's a trend going on where separate bedrooms for a couple is being normalized. It's fine. That is okay. I'm not talking about that. It has nothing to do with this context. I'm just talking about a relationship where intimacy of this kind, like sleeping with your partner, that thing is totally absent. And that is in no way normal. Number 2, lack of intimacy. Intimacy is one of the main active ingredients of any healthy relationship, physical or emotional. You get to know each other better on a physical level, on an emotional level. That is what leads to chemistry. But there is no intimacy at all. Emotional, that is nowhere to be found. You cannot expect that. Physical intimacy, that is conditional and temporary. In the beginning, some narcissists are really intense and intimate and you're like, wow, this is the dream sex life. But then later down the line, it dies off. It's dead, nowhere to be found. Months pass, years sometimes pass, and you probably may not be even able to remember, like, when was the last time I was intimate with him or her? No idea, I don't remember. That is not normal. It has become normal for you because you're living with a monster. You're living with someone who has withheld that from you. And now your body rejects them. You don't want to be intimate with them because they have caused you so much harm. It's like hit and kiss approach. On one hand, they're hitting you. On the next hand, they want to sleep with you. How come? Your body is definitely going to push them away. And that is not normal. You should not settle for that. If you're living in a hell like this, you should get out before it gets too late, because your brain might create this comfort zone of yours. You may cope and this may start stinking less, but that doesn't change the fact that it's still shit. Number 3, being anxious all the time. Hypervigilance is one of the main signs of narcissistic abuse trauma. Why do you become anxious? Because you're always expecting the sky to fall. You're always expecting something bad to happen. So you are living in future worst case scenarios and you're not making anything up. No, you have referential experiences. The narcissist is known to creating chaos, to troubling you, to abusing you. So you expect them to emotionally harm you or physically harm you in some cases. That is no way of living. Your nervous system has, if not permanently, but majorly shifted its rhythm, and now you are living under sympathetic dominance, meaning you're living in fight, flight, freeze all the time, which is not normal. That is not how we are supposed to living. We are supposed to be calm, relaxed, because we're not living in jungles anymore. Your body is on the run, 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 and probably it has gotten to a point where it feels like that is how your life is. You feel like that's how everybody is functioning. No, that is an overwhelming demand that has been created by this environment on your body to keep surviving, which is eventually going to create a lot of problems for you, especially health problems, autoimmune disorders. I mean, I can go with a list, but you can just do your own research and find out what chronic stress does to our body, how it damages us. Just because you have gotten used to this anxiety and being hypervigilant, being hyper attuned, being hypersensitive to your environment, to the point of recognizing somebody through their footprints, through the sound their footprints make, does not mean it's normal. It's beyond abnormal, and you should get out. Behavior number 4, doing things on your own. In a narcissistic relationship, the last thing you'll ask from them is their support. They won't offer it because everything they see you doing is way below them. I'm talking about cooking, cleaning, earning, anything that you do to regulate the family, to provide for the family, to keep the family running, including taking care of your children. None of that is supported by the narcissist. They don't take a part in it. They're just involved in their own stuff. And a point comes where it becomes quite normal because you're tired of asking and you know nothing is going to come from them. And even if they do something, they're going to destroy it on purpose so that you never ask them for help ever again. But let me tell you this, none of this is normal. You didn't bring those kids into your marriage. You conceived them with your partner. You know, they do have an equal responsibility. You're living in the same house. It's not just yours. It's not like everything is for you. They are living, they are cohabitating, they are using the resources, so they share the responsibility equally. But none of that is taken care or taken into consideration by such a selfish individual because they think they don't have to do any of it. But that doesn't mean you will ignore how abnormal this is. Just because you have gotten used to doing it on your own, by your own, doesn't mean it's normal. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should continuously do it. Number 5 and the last one, never having deep conversations. Oh, you can never ever have a conversation with a narcissist. As I say in all my episodes, it's better to bang your head against a wall than have a conversation with a monster, with a madman or a mad person like that, because at least when banging your head against a wall, you will know what's going on, it will hurt. But with a narcissist, you'll be like this. Spirals, circular arguments, conversations, counter questioning, word salad. You know how it goes. You know that you don't get anything from it, let alone having deep conversations. They can't even hold surface level conversations like about stuff, about what do we do with this food. That they will turn into some kind of fight. Somehow you wouldn't even know how that happened, but you'll find yourself crying at the end of it when it was just a simple thing. Over time, you suppress your voice. You don't talk about anything to them. You do not mention anything. But is that normal? How is it normal? With your partner, you're supposed to share your emotions. You're supposed to talk about stuff that both of you do not agree on, but you explore each other's mind. You try to peek into each other's psyche and try to learn from each other. It's just a part of growth. That is not possible. The moment you say something different than what they believe, there you go. You become the enemy and they launch the attack against you. Silence in a relationship is not normal. Unaliving your voice is not normal. Shutting yourself down is not normal. If you haven't gotten out already, please get out. In conclusion, we can say everything that is abusive, that's terrible, horrible, and unacceptable is normalized in a narcissistic relationship because it's an adaptation made by your brain to cope. It's like you get used to smelling the filth. It's just like, okay, you live in it, it's all around, what can I do about it? Better ignore it. That is what happens. It becomes your comfort zone and you then feel like, oh, I can cope, I can live in this, I can handle. No. It's like frog in the boiling water kind of a metaphor. You know what happens in the end. You know what happens to that frog? The same thing happens to us emotionally and sometimes physically as well. So my suggestion and advice is, do not make unworkable workable just because you think you can cope. It's temporary and you will be exhausted. With that, let's bring this episode to an end. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll talk to you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.